wanted to do a video on composting for people that work in restaurants, because what ends up happening is you have so much green and not enough brown, like the carbon. People have been emailing me and saying, well, you work in restaurants, you end up with so many, every time I've tried it, so much fruit flies. It's just too wet, it's moist because of the amount of greenery that you're putting in, fruits, lots of fruits, veggies. So what I want to do is just show quickly what I do when you're walking home with a bucket every night of the greens. What I do to compensate and overset. So the stuff that you're getting if you work in a restaurant, they're going to be bigger chunks. It's not like at home when you're chopping your dinner vegetables for everything. In the restaurant, that's for my grass. I'm going to do another video on how to spot grass things. You're going to end up with some bad sweet potatoes. I don't cut them up. I don't do anything because my compost is going to be sitting there for a year. I'm putting a bucket of this in every year. Sorry, every day. It's a big piece of celery, avocados, bananas. Down at the bottom is all fruit juice. So what happens if you just throw that in your composter, that amount of wetness, you're going to end up with the fruit flies. There's nothing you can do about that unless you're going to try to dry it out. And one way to dry it out is to grab some dry leaves. That's your carbon. Now it's August right now. Where are you going to get dry leaves? I just cleaned out my windowsill, so I have some for the video. But usually this time of the year, you're not going to have any leaves. So what I use is my shredded office paper. If you've got, I've still got another bag here. But if you've got enough of these two put together, you're going to cut down on that. Other thing is walk around your yard. Find different things, weeds that are growing up. If they've seeded, everybody says don't put seeded stuff in your composter. I agree with that, only if you're using it for that year. So when you see me putting it in the composter, you're going to see that I've got 3 composters running this year. 2 are for next year, and 1 is just a big rain barrel, and that sits 2 years, sometimes 3, until I need it. So I don't need to worry about any of the seeds. It's hot enough in there. As soon as you start putting everything in there, it's going to be cooking. It'll cook the seeds after 2 years. So with any weeds, I'll just chop them up and put them in. You don't have to chop them up. You can throw them in. The only thing is, the smaller it is for the weeds, the bigger space you have. Coffee grounds. We have a pretty big breakfast buffet. So I get every day, there's about half a bucket of coffee grounds. I just leave the filter straight in. That's all going to get stirred in. That gives your soil a really, really dark, rich compost the next time. I got a friend, Heidi. Thank you, Heidi. Whoa, this one's heavy. She's got a horse. The reason why I'm wearing these gloves is not because of horse poop. It's not because of compost. It's not going to bother me any. The reason why I do it is the coffee grounds. The coffee grounds get everywhere. They're wet unless, like this bag I did for my spot on the grass, which will be my next video. It's been cooked and dried out. But if not, the wet stuff, it's going to just get onto everything unless you wear gloves. So I've got some nice fresh horse manure. A lot of people will separate and get a pile of manure. For me, because I have the composting, I'm just going to throw everything in together. It's mixed in. In the spring when I need my compost, it just cuts down on a lot less mixing. Eggshells grounded, that's going in. It's fit for calcium, but I put it in my soil. This is more for the worms. Right in the center of your compost pile, it's going to be so hot, especially when you get to my grass clippings. The worms aren't there, but what they'll do is they'll sit around on the outside, live in there, propagate, and then in the winter when it starts to cool down, then they'll start to move into the center where it is warmer, and that's where they'll live. So next spring, everything is ready to restart. That's why I can put, usually in October, I'll stop putting in all veggies, let's say the last week of October, but I'll continue putting coffee grounds and eggshells all the way till end of January, and then that gives enough time in the spring for May 2-4 when I'm planting again. So these eggshells, these are ground down. That's give the worms, gizzards something to do. I also have sand here, you'll see in a second for that. Because I like to have my soil year after year after year, so when I'm topping up, a lot of times it is a bit of an instant top up, but a lot of times I'm topping up for next year and next year and next year. So again, these are all baked, but this amount, these are both the same amounts, both one case, 15 dozen large eggs. Any plants, starter seeds, this is the only time that you're ever going to see in my system, is when I have a little bit of peat moss, because I use coconut coir. When you buy a plant at the store, sometimes it's got 2 or 3. My wife likes the flowers, shrubs. I'll move them over, and anything that's left over in the pot, I just put it straight into the composter so it can break down, because I really don't want to use it if I don't know what's in there. So I'll let the system clean everything else. That'll go in the composter. I grew up in Niagara on the Lake. Parents still have the same house. So when I go see them, a lot of times I'll head down to the beach and I'll grab sand for my composter. Again, because I am into the worms, you need the grit. So at the end of the season, my compost is more like soil as opposed to compost. I don't take the compost, there's a couple of rocks in here. I don't take the sand directly from the beach. I want to grab it from just in the water. That way you'll end up with a lot more broken up shells in there. Salmon, trout, whatever has died is going to end up in the sand. Whereas on the beach, it's going to dry out all the good bacteria, protozoa. It's died. So whenever I do grab sand, I make sure that it goes in my compost within the day. That way it never completely dries out. So you put all this in your compost, everything's going great. Especially with a lot of the veggies, you're going to the fruits, you're going to cool your compost down. Horse manure, or any manure, honestly, is going to keep the heat up. But a good thing to do is, I was about to say I very rarely keep my grass clippings. They go straight back onto the ground as a mulch. But about twice a year, when I go around the pool or I go around the hedges, it's a lot longer. And I will keep the grass clippings. And this stuff, even after about half an hour, it gets extremely hot. And that's a good way to get your compost back up running hot. I'm gonna take you over. It's nothing special. I'll show how it goes in, because if you dump all the leaves and all the grass, everything, you pitchfork it in, dig it through. Whereas me, I have one of those just little claw type things, turn it. So what I do is a little bit at a time until I'm all done. And with all this, because I'm always running a very full composter, it's probably going to be full, but honestly within 2 or 3 days it's down, because with my composters running this hot, I was off work there for a week and a half. Not me, medical issues, but medical issues. And it was literally down to 1/3. And that's after being totally full. Could hardly fill the lid, so it breaks down. It breaks down very, very fast. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to take you over to my composters, show you how I mix this in, chop up my weeds a little bit, and again, just show you how everything comes together. And in the spring, not only do you have incredible compost, you you've got incredible soil. So if you do work in the restaurant industry, or you know somebody that does, honestly, if you get to know somebody that owns a restaurant, especially a mom and pop's, like a smaller place, if you go in there once or twice a week consistently, ask them, hey, can you ask the cooks, do you mind if you just keep the scraps aside? First of all, they have to pay less for their dumpster fees because you're taking it away. And second of all, they know that you're going to come and eat there because you're picking up your product. Even if you're not going to pick it up that day, you're rushing home from work and you stop by and you say, oh, is that bucket of the scraps ready? You don't have to be there that day. The owner's going to know that the next day or the next day you're either going to be there or you're with your partner, with your friends, with whatever. If you go to their place, they're more than happy to give you the coffee grounds, more than happy to give you any of the peelings or whatnot, because again, it's cutting down on their dumpster fees. It's a win-win situation for everybody. Okay, so I'm going to take you over to the dumpster, and I'll take you over to the composter, and we'll see how it goes. So here we are back at the composter. Just going to see if I can loosen this up. Pan around here. Work. We've got three composters. One back in the corner there. That's the one I've got open. And this one here, I just, honestly, it's my weed. That's my 2 or 3 one. That's a big rain barrel. But I've got holes dug through the side. This one's the one I'm going to start on. Once we get started, it could fill up and I'll go to the next one. Basically, just little bit by little bit. Got the grass on the top from the video, but I'm going to start off with a bit of sand, throw that in there. The only things that really don't break down quickly is going to be your avocado stones, like the pits, and the top, I can't see this, but the top of pineapples. But honestly, by spring, they'll be gone. Throw some coffee grounds in there. I don't worry about the filters. They're just going to break up fine. Everything will break up. Bit of those weeds I was showing how I was cutting them up before. That's just sitting on top of the horse manure. The more wetness you get in there, the quicker it's going to start to break down, especially the fresh greens. The horse manure does start to bring more of the house flies than everything else, so just make sure it's in there. I snapped one of my, well, I didn't. My dog snapped one of the branches of the red manure verrugas, so that's putting in there. That way you don't feel bad about snapping a branch off one of those super hot peppers. Again, like I say, the sweet potatoes and stuff, a lot of people, if you're at home and you need it in 3 months, chop it up. It'll break down quick. If not, I'm not using this for another 6-7 months, so I really don't care. And a little of your shredded paper. Getting your carbon in there. I still will be using the mixer, but the reason why I'm doing this paper can tend to clump every now and then. Same with the grass clippings. These leaves actually have more worms in there also because, as I said, I got them out of my windowsill. So down on the bottom, there's been lots of worms starting breaking down the bottom. Red shells in there. You can see the brown in there. They've all been cooked, slow cooked in the oven. That's just to help down with salmonella. Not saying your eggs have them, but if they do, it just helps. Grass in there, get the heat up. Just gonna throw in that old potting soil that I said that I had. Get that bit of a breakdown. So it looks like we're full. Just give it a little bit of a move around. As you can come back in 2 days, 3 days maybe, and put the same amount back in. And then to cut down on the fruit flies, which I was saying about, I'm just going to top the whole thing off with grass. And some leaves. And for anybody that's just starting a composter, yes, you can get the enzymes to start a compost, but any soil that you dig up from the ground is going to have those enzymes and bacteria in it. So throw everything. If you're just starting a compost, you just got yourself an earth machine from the city, throw them in there. And just put up 2-3 scoopfuls of your garden soil. That's got all the bacteria you ever need. I mean, I don't think you ever have to tell a ground or a forest how to start breaking stuff down. Here, just want to make sure. Just gonna have a little view. I want to turn to the other composter. Bring this over. I have never once tried to say that I am the best editor, and the reason is if I edit, all of a sudden the sync is off, so the voice sync. I know we can fix it, but I work enough hours a job. I just like to put this up for people that are interested. Okay. Move around here. This one's been a while since I got any sand in there, so I'm gonna get a little up on the sand. Quick turn. So I'm going to be topping this, not up top, but topping the grass and what have you with the coffee grounds, eggshells. So the water will start to get in there. Put this bag in. So right there, what I've just done is put in 2 cases of eggshells. If you ever go anywhere if you don't work in the restaurant industry and you ever go anywhere for breakfast, and you're there more than twice a week, ask me. My buddy Mike, he's got a great idea. They call it the China cap, the strainer. When you need so much scrambled eggs, he just throws the eggs, shells, everything into the grinder, or sorry, the China cap, And China Cat, which is a strainer, it holds all the eggshells. So out the other end comes all the eggs. And that's where you see the more of the grinding, because they're a little bit more crushed up than the full ones. More grass. Throw the rest of this horse manure in here. That was me breathing. That wasn't the smell of the horse manure. I really don't mind horse manure. I've got too many dogs, too many cats. That smell really doesn't bother me too much at all. And there, you see paper towels in there. If the paper towel is not me washing after chicken fingers or something like that, I'll throw it in. If I've been chopping fruit, I'll throw the paper towel in there. It's going to break down. It's holding all the juice anyways. Some more coffee grounds. Push that off. Peel here. The leaves, like I say, there's quite a bit, especially at the bottom. Worms in there. But yeah, looks like it's completely packed. Oh, bit of garbage. But the heat of the topping of the leaves and the grass clippings, it's going to completely cook down so quickly. Top it off with the grass for the heat. And we'll finish off with the segment. And there we go. We've got two completely full composters. That in 1 or 2 days, I'm going to be able to start topping up again. 1-2 buckets a day. It'll run down. And then come spring, you're laughing. You've got your soil for the season. Add a little bit, well, for the super hots, of course. Add a little bit more eggshells for that year or next year to break down. A little bit of bone meal, and away you go. So this is not 100% composting. This is more like making soil. I'm going to show you this one here. This is my 2-year rain barrel. I've only got a garbage lid on it, which doesn't fit. That's why I've got this big block. But these are any of my weeds I've started to grow through. Every week it's full, it's overflowing. Just let it sit. This one really doesn't get a lot of veggies. It does at the end of the year because I want the liquid. I don't really want to water my composter. So by putting enough fruit scraps, especially like cantaloupe, pineapple, honeydew, all those peels, you put them in there, there's your liquid. You're doing fine. My next video, which I'm going to be putting up today too, is I was saying that I do have dogs, cats. So the reason you get all of these brown spots, as you can see on the ground, that's all your urine hits being very high in ammonia. So I have a patch program that really works well. This one over here I just did about a week and a half ago. And I wait about 2 weeks before I start cutting the grass, let the roots grow, and then just move on to like another little patch. I don't try to replace the ground all at once, because if not, the dogs will just start freaking out and digging everywhere. So I just patch by patch by patch. Of course, these are my super hots this year. Nice little garden growing. They're a good 2-3 weeks behind, and that's not because I planted late. They're still going to flower and still going to sprout no matter how late you planted. It's just how tall they are, how big they are. The problem is that this year up in Canada, or anybody in the northern states will know, the sunshine just hasn't been here. It's been a lot of days that are warm, but there's always been a bit of cloud cover. So I'm hoping September is good, because the pods on these things are, sorry, I'm on a tripod. They're nice size. There's pods everywhere, but honestly, I think I have, out of all these plants, probably about 5 or 6 red ones out of the whole bunch. So hopefully, if you don't work in the restaurant industry, and you know somebody that does, that's the way to compost. There's nothing wrong with, you know, being a good person. At the end of the day, growing your, you know, taking your peelings from dinner and stuff. But if you actually really want to get a large amount to fix your flower beds, to fix your gardens, to fix, you know, spot grasses, you're going to need more than what you're ever going to make at home. Because the problem is when the leaves come, your composter is full. You have no more room. You're like, oh, I'm full. But those leaves break down to literally nothing. So you filled it up. They're great for the micronutrients, because the roots of those trees are going down so deep. But if you have a full, those earth machines you get from the city, if you have a full one of those, come spring you're going to have maybe that much soil, which is great if you know how to make like a compost tea or something. You can make that spread. But honestly, if you know somebody or you work in the restaurant industry, that's the way to go. Keep it topped up, and then come spring, you're never going to have to buy any compost. You don't know where it came from. Okay, you have a great day. Again, later today, if you're interested, I'm just going to show a little video on how to do little spots on your grass and how to keep it, as opposed to just letting everything run wild. Hope everybody had a great day. Hope somebody learned something. If they didn't, then you just wasted time. Please like, subscribe, dislike, do whatever you like. This is Add a Hot Pepper on YouTube. Have a great day.